Welcome back to Tacks. In Maharashtra, Sangli, 4 sadhus were brutally assaulted by a mob.
The sadhus who hailed from Uttar Pradesh were travelling in a car and heading towards the temple town of Pandharpur. They made a stop at Lavanga village in Sangli, according to the police. The men asked a boy for directions. The locals confronted the sadhus on the pretext of checking their Aadhaar card and then tried to drag one of them out of the car by grabbing his leg. They went on to assault him with a belt. The other 3 sadhus were also beaten black and blue. Finally, the police reached at the spot and took the sadhus to hospital. While the sadhus didn't file a complaint, 6 accused have been arrested for causing hurt and rioting.
A labourer set a Mercedes-Benz on fire outside a bungalow in Noida. The labourer poured flammable liquid on the car worth 1 crore rupees and then set it on fire. He was reportedly angry with the Mercedes owner for allegedly failing to settle his dues of 2 lakh rupees for installing tiles at the house. The accused has been arrested. A minor altercation over collision of 2 bikes turned ugly when a youth, along with his accomplice, started firing bullets in the Joda Fatak area on Monday night. In fact, the incident was captured on CCTV. 1 person was reportedly injured after the clash. The accused has been identified and a case has been registered by the Punjab police. An emergency evacuation took place after smoke filled the cabin of an Air India Express flight that was preparing to take off from Oman. Smoke billowed from the plane, which had been taxiing for departure for Kochi. Slides were deployed and all 141 passengers and 6 crew were safely evacuated. Heavy rains in Akola in Maharashtra have put 1 biker's life at serious risk.
The biker was trying to cross a completely inundated road, but the water was flowing with such force that the biker lost his balance. What followed was bone-chilling. The biker got swept away in the flood waters. He was dragged all the way to the edge of a drain. On seeing the biker's plight, some bystanders jumped into the flood waters. They pulled the biker to safety right in the nick of time.
A man injured in a road accident had to be carried to hospital in a bulldozer in Katni in Madhya Pradesh. The locals claim that they had informed the authorities and waited more than an hour and a half for the ambulance, but it failed to arrive. After seeing the man, who were losing too much blood, that's when they had to improvise. UP's power minister is facing power cuts in Barabanki district. The minister was conducting an inspection at an electrical substation when the power went off. After an hour, the minister was compelled to continue the inspection with mobile torchlights. Later, he reprimanded the officials for interrupted power supply as the residents were facing a lot of flack there. 11 people were killed after a bus fell into a gorge in Jammu and Kashmir's Poonch district.
The overcrowded minibus was on its way to Poonch from Gali Maidan where it met with an accident. The bus plunged deep into a gorge in Poonch, rolling down more than 250 feet and hitting the ground, which was strewn with boulders. A joint rescue operation was carried out by army, police and local villagers. 9 passengers died on the spot, while 2 more succumbed to the injuries at the hospital. The critical patients have been airlifted to Government Medical College and Hospital in Jammu for specialized treatment. Jammu and Kashmir LG Manoj Sinha announced 5 lakh financial assistance to the family member of those who died.
The Indian Air Force is taking a big step towards securing its bases across the country. Over 100 unmanned aerial systems will be bought. The drones will be bought from Indian vendors. These drones are for surveillance, recce and detection. They're capable of carrying electro-optic as well as thermal images. The ability is to try and detect human-sized targets from a very long distance. CCTV footage has emerged of 2 trigger-happy assailants who went on a shooting spree in Begusarai in Bihar.
Fear has gripped Bihar's Begusarai district. For 40 kilometers, 2 men on a bike went on a rampage. They kept firing indiscriminately at people along the way, killing 1 and injuring 9 others. And even 24 hours on, the gunmen are still at large. Police have announced a 50,000 rupee reward for anyone who has information on the bikers, who are believed to have been drunk and deranged.
सभी जगह नाकेबंदी कर दी। पुलिस की जो अलग टीम थी, इन्वेस्टिगेशन टीम, उनके द्वारा सीसीटीवी फुटेज प्राप्त किया गया।
Meanwhile, BJP workers protested against the law and order situation in Bihar. Union Minister Giriraj Singh went to Begusarai to meet the injured.
लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की स्थिति इतनी बिगड़ गई है कि आम लोगों का कहना है रोपे बबुल तो आम कहां से हुए।
7 police officers have been suspended for dereliction of duty.
The Gujarat ATS seized a Pakistan boat which had 4 kilograms of heroin, which amounts to over 200 crore rupees. 6 Pakistani nationals were apprehended by the ATS. The consignment was reportedly ordered from a Nigerian origin man who is currently lodged at the Kapurthala jail. In fact, the Pakistani fishermen were about to hand over the entire consignment when they were arrested. The Enforcement Directorate has seized more than 90 kilograms of gold and almost 350 kilograms of silver, collectively valued at just a shade under 50 crore rupees. They concluded search operations at 4 premises in Mumbai. The raids were conducted in connection with a money laundering case where the company duped banks and took loans to the tune of over 2,000 crores, which was then siphoned off by layering through various shell companies. 8 labourers were killed after the elevator of an under-construction building in Ahmedabad came crashing down.
The elevator was carrying the workers when it crashed to the ground from the 7th floor. While the incident happened at 10 a.m., the Fire and Emergency Services Department of Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation says they received no communication. The fire and police team reached the spot only around 1 in the afternoon. The high-rise building is being constructed near Gujarat University. Since it's a private building, the construction plans and other approvals will be inspected during an inquiry into the incident.
The Supreme Court has accepted the BCCI's plea seeking to do away with a mandatory cooling-off period between tenures of office bearers across state cricket associations as well as the BCCI itself. Now, this paves the way for the Cricket Association President Sourav Ganguly and Secretary Jay Shah to continue in office. Now the administrators will have to undergo the cooling-off period only after 2 consecutive terms in office. Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin will be meeting at the SCO summit in Uzbekistan, which begins Thursday.
Ahead of the SCO summit, Xi Jinping stopped at Kazakhstan. It's his first trip abroad since the outbreak of the COVID pandemic. The world's eyes are on Xi Jinping's meeting with Vladimir Putin at Samarkand. While Xi's at loggerheads with the US over Taiwan, Putin's ties with the West are at a rock bottom over Ukraine. Together, both men will hope to be the alternative to the Western world. Xi and Putin will discuss the Ukraine war and other international and regional topics. China had refused to criticize Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February. Kremlin in turn strongly backed Beijing amidst tensions with the United States after Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan. China and Russia have long sought to position the Shanghai Cooperation Organization as an alternative to Western multilateral groups.